You're in a meeting. Someone across the table opens their mouth, takes a long, slow breath, and yawns. And before you even register what's happening, your own jaw starts to stretch. You fight it. You lose. Now you're yawning too, and so is the person next to you. Nobody in that room is tired. Nobody's out of air. So what just happened? Why did one person's yawn ripple around the table like it was contagious? And actually, back up. Forget the contagious part for a second. Here's the stranger question. Why do we yawn at all? Because everything you think you know about yawning is probably wrong. Most of us learned the same story growing up. You yawn because you're tired, or because the room is stuffy and your body needs more oxygen. It's tidy. It makes sense. It's also been tested, and it falls apart almost immediately. Decades ago, a researcher named Robert Provine decided to actually check. If yawning is about oxygen, then giving people more of it should make them yawn less. So he had people breathe air with extra oxygen. Nothing changed. He had them breathe air with extra carbon dioxide, the stuff that's supposed to make you gasp for fresh air. Still nothing. Their yawning didn't budge. Whatever a yawn is for, it has almost nothing to do with topping up your oxygen. So if it's not about air, what is it about? The leading answer today is something almost nobody guesses. Your brain has a temperature problem. Your brain is an incredibly hungry organ. It runs hot, it burns through fuel, and like any high-performance machine, it works best inside a narrow temperature range. Let it run even slightly too warm and everything gets foggy. Focus slips. Reactions slow. You feel that heavy, sluggish haze. Your brain needs a way to cool itself down. Fast. That's where the yawn comes in. Think about the mechanics of it. You stretch your jaw wide, and that big stretch pulls a rush of blood up through your head, almost like flushing warm fluid out of an engine. At the same time, you pull in a deep gulp of cooler outside air, which chills that blood on its way through. A yawn, in other words, is a radiator flush for your brain, and the evidence is oddly specific. People yawn more when the air around them is cool enough to actually do some cooling, and they yawn less when it's so hot that a deep breath wouldn't help. In experiments, pressing a warm pack to someone's forehead makes them yawn more. A cool pack makes them yawn less. The brain is doing exactly what a cooling system should, which finally explains why you yawn at the moments you do. Not just when you're tired, but at every edge, every transition. You yawn when you're waking up and your brain is trying to come online. You yawn when you're drifting toward sleep. You yawn when you're bored and underused, and, strangely, you yawn when you're stressed and overheating with adrenaline. Skydivers yawn before they jump. Athletes yawn right before they compete. It's not exhaustion. It's your brain hitting a reset button, cooling itself, snapping into the next state. So that's the yawn. A quiet little cooling mechanism running in the background of your whole life. But that still leaves the part you actually noticed. The contagious part. Because brain cooling is a private problem. It's about your head. So why on earth would you catch a yawn from someone across the room? Here's where it stops being about temperature and starts being about connection. Roughly half of us reliably catch yawns. You see one, you read about one, you even just hear the sound of one, and your own body answers. And when researchers looked at who catches them most easily, they found something that has nothing to do with sleep, or rooms, or air. It tracks with empathy. You're far more likely to catch a yawn from someone you're close to. Catching a stranger's yawn is the weakest. A coworker's is a little stronger. A friend's, stronger still. But the person most likely to pull a yawn out of you is someone you love. Family. A partner. Your closest people. The closer the bond, the stronger the pull. Your body is quietly mirroring the people it's tuned into. And it goes further than humans. Dogs catch yawns from people, and they catch them more from their own owner than from a stranger. Chimpanzees pass yawns around their group. This is an ancient shared piece of wiring, a thread of automatic mirroring that runs through deeply social animals. Watch when it switches on in us and it gets even more telling. Babies don't catch yawns. A newborn will yawn on its own. Fetuses actually yawn in the womb months before they're born. But a baby won't catch your yawn. That ability only switches on around the age of 4 or 5. right alongside the age when children start to truly understand that other people have their own inner worlds, their own minds and feelings. Contagious yawning shows up at the exact moment empathy comes online. And the flip side is just as revealing. People who score lower on measures of empathy, who find it harder to slip into someone else's emotional shoes, tend to catch yawns less. The more walled off you are from other people's inner states, the more immune you are to their yawns. Your resistance to a yawn is, in a quiet way, a readout of how porous you are to other people. So step back and look at the whole thing. A yawn starts as one of the most physical, mechanical acts your body performs: a radiator flush, a temperature fix, a reflex you share with creatures that can't think about anything at all. And then somewhere along the line, evolution took that simple reflex and wired it into the social part of us. It turned a private cooling system into a signal, a way that bodies sync up, a thread that passes silently between people who are paying attention to each other. When you catch someone's yawn, you're not catching their tiredness. You're catching them. Your nervous system briefly tuning to theirs, mirroring a person without either of you choosing it or even noticing. It's one of the most honest little signs we have that we are not nearly as separate from each other as we feel. And here's the part you might already be feeling. I've now said the word yawn more times than anyone should. I've described the stretch of the jaw, the deep pull of breath, that heavy wave rolling up behind your eyes. And if your body has been reading along, if even a flicker of that urge has crept into your own jaw while you sat here, then you just felt the whole thing happen with no one in the room at all. No tired body, no stuffy air, just a story about other people, and a brain quietly, faithfully refusing to feel it alone.